Welcome back to GH Spoilers channel. Today we still learn about the issue that Sep's about to tear apart Port Charles. Betrayal, fury, and a full-blown custody war, the latest drama in General Hospital centers on Carly, Willow, Michael, and Drew, and it's about to get messy. Everything starts with one shocking revelation. Willow, Carly's former daughter-in-law and someone she once fully trusted, has decided to move in with Drew, but that's not all. She's taking Wiley and Amelia with her. For Carly, it's a punch to the gut. This isn't just about an ex-family member making an unexpected move, it's personal. Willow was family. She had been like a daughter, and now she's not only living with Drew, Carly's close friend, but also bringing the children along, as if they're starting a new family unit without so much as a conversation. Carly doesn't take betrayal lightly. Her reaction is immediate and explosive. In a fit of anger, she confronts Willow. The confrontation nearly turns violent, and Carly comes dangerously close to hitting her. Jason steps in at the last moment, pulling Carly back from doing something she might regret. But that doesn't mean Carly is letting this go. Far from it. In Carly's mind, this is war. She vows right then and there that she will fight for custody of Wiley and Amelia. She doesn't believe Drew and Willow have any right to raise them without Michael. She sees it as manipulation, as a betrayal of Michael's trust and her own. And if Willow thought she could get away with this quietly, she was wrong. Carly immediately picks up the phone and calls Michael. He's been away in Germany, receiving treatment for serious burn injuries. Luckily, his condition has been improving faster than anyone expected. Physically, he's healing. Emotionally, however, he's about to be thrown into the fire again. When Carly tells him what's happened, that Willow has moved in with Drew and taken the kids, Michael is livid. There's no hesitation in his response. He decides to return to Port Charles immediately. Michael's return is not just a personal one. It's a mission. As soon as he lands, he wastes no time. He reaches out to Diane, his trusted attorney, and together they begin preparing for a custody battle. This isn't just about living arrangements. It's about parental rights, control, and who truly has the children's best interests at heart. For Michael, there's no question. He believes that what Willow and Drew are doing is irresponsible and deceitful. He refuses to be pushed out of his children's lives. What makes the situation even more volatile is that Michael once considered Drew a close friend and ally. They've supported each other through countless crises, but now Michael feels completely betrayed. Not only is Drew living with Willow, but he's stepping into a father figure role with Wiley and Amelia. For Michael, it's a line that should never have been crossed. The tension between the two men has been building, and it finally erupts. Their confrontation is explosive. Emotions boil over, words are exchanged, and then fists follow. Michael and Drew engage in a heated physical fight, something that once would have been unthinkable between them. It's a breaking point. Luckily, Willow walks in just in time to stop things from escalating further. She quickly pulls Drew away and takes him home, but the damage is done. News of the fight spreads fast, and when Diane hears what happened, she's furious. As Michael's legal counsel, she knows this could backfire in a big way. Physical violence, especially involving a custody case, is never a good look. She warns Michael that Willow and Drew could easily turn this into leverage. If they paint Michael as unstable or violent, it could sway the judge in their favor. Diane urges caution. From this point on, every move matters. Meanwhile, Willow finds herself caught in the middle. On one hand, she's trying to move forward to create a stable home for Wiley and Amelia with Drew. On the other, she's facing the full wrath of Carly and Michael, who see her decisions as reckless and selfish. She never wanted this to turn into a war, but she's not backing down either. She believes she's doing what's best for the children, even if it means going head-to-head with the people she once considered family. As the custody battle looms, everyone is on edge. Carly is relentless. She wants her grandchildren back and will do anything to help Michael win. Michael, driven by pain and a sense of betrayal, is determined not to let Drew raise his children. Drew, despite the conflict, believes he's providing stability and love in a chaotic situation. And Willow, now in the eye of the storm, insists she's putting the kids first, even if no one else sees it that way. Alliances are shifting fast, trust is gone, friendships have shattered. What was once a close-knit circle is now a battlefield, and with lawyers involved, emotions running high and children caught in the middle, there's no easy resolution in sight. One thing's for sure, the fight for Wiley and Amelia is just beginning, and the fallout will shake Port Charles for a long time. Stay tuned, because this isn't just another family drama. This is personal, this is legal, and this is war. Next, We'll be diving into a remarkable milestone in the world of daytime television that deserves our attention and celebration. Let's explore the incredible journey of a beloved actress who has become synonymous with Port Charles and has captured hearts for 4 decades. We will test session, let's 5 and you read of the left sessions. A legendary career spanning generations. The Port Charles Police Department has seen its fair share of commissioners over the years, but none quite as formidable or enduring as Anna Devane. What began on April 10, 1985, has blossomed into a 40-year legacy that continues to enrich the tapestry of ABC's General Hospital. The character's journey from a mysterious woman with her sights set on Robert Scorpio has evolved into one of the most complex and beloved figures in daytime television history. Finola Hughes recently commemorated this extraordinary milestone by sharing a nostalgic glimpse into her earliest days on the show. Taking to social media, she posted a captivating image from her very first scenes, accompanied by heartfelt words reflecting on her unexpected journey 40 years ago today. What a brilliant ride! Who would have thought? Love you guys so much. This simple yet profound statement encapsulates the surprise and gratitude that comes with such a rare achievement in television. The impact of Anna Devane on Port Charles. The character of Anna Devane has undergone remarkable evolution throughout her 4 decades in Port Charles. Initially introduced as Robert Scorpio's enigmatic ex-wife, Anna's character has developed layers of complexity that few soap opera characters ever achieve. Her reconnection with daughter Robin marked one of the show's most emotionally resonant storylines, creating a mother-daughter dynamic that viewers have followed for generations. Beyond her personal relationships, Anna's professional life as the PCPD commissioner has provided countless dramatic moments and moral dilemmas. Her unique position of authority, juxtaposed with her somewhat unorthodox methods and complicated past, creates the perfect storm for compelling storytelling. This duality extends to her role as guardian to her granddaughter, where we see the softer side of this otherwise tough-as-nails character. Celebrating with the GH family. The milestone hasn't gone unnoticed by Hughes' colleagues. Her on-screen daughter Kimberly McCullough Robin Scorpio Drake succinctly captured the sentiment with a single-word comment, icon. This powerful acknowledgement speaks volumes about Hughes' standing among her peers and the impact she's had on younger cast members. Laura Wright, who portrays Carly Corinthos, enthusiastically added amazing to the chorus of congratulations. Even former GH co-star Rebecca Budig, now on The Bold and the Beautiful, joined the celebration with her comment, incredible. These reactions demonstrate the respect Hughes commands across the daytime television community. Reflections on a remarkable journey. In a recent interview with Women's World magazine, Hughes shared insights about her extraordinary tenure on General Hospital. We're so lucky, she reflected, speaking not just for herself but for her long-standing colleagues. We're just in that very fortuitous position of being in the public's lexicon. They keep coming back, and we're here for it. This statement reveals her understanding of the unique relationship between soap operas and their devoted audiences. The show's 62nd anniversary episode on April 1st brought together many GH veterans, creating what Hughes described as a Thanksgiving-like atmosphere. It's like Thanksgiving with family, she explained, highlighting the genuine bonds formed over decades of working together. These relationships extend beyond the set, as evidenced by her close friendship with Christina Wagner, who plays Felicia Jones. The next generation of Port Charles. One of the most fascinating aspects of Hughes' longevity on General Hospital is her opportunity to work with multiple generations of actors. Speaking about her on-screen granddaughters, Hughes expressed affection for both Brooklyn Ray Silzer, who portrayed Emma for 12 years, and newcomer Braden Bruner, who recently assumed the role. I loved working with Brooklyn when she was growing up as the character, but she's now working hard in nursing school, so we have Braden Bruner, and she's just wonderful, Hughes shared. This transition represents the natural evolution that occurs in long-running series, where characters grow up before viewers' eyes and sometimes require recasting as actors pursue other opportunities. Complex relationships and future possibilities. Anna's complicated relationship with Jason Morgan has been a source of intrigue for fans. When asked about this dynamic, Hughes offered a characteristically witty response. Their relationship is still very professional, if you can call a police commissioner fraternizing with a hitman professional. This quip perfectly captures the moral ambiguity that makes Anna such a fascinating character. A law enforcement official who sometimes operates in gray areas and maintains connections with those on both sides of the law. As Anna Devane continues her journey in Port Charles, fans can look forward to more of the intricate storytelling and powerful performances that have defined Hughes' tenure on General Hospital. After 40 years, the character remains as relevant and compelling as ever, a testament to both the writers who craft her stories and the actress who brings her to life with such authenticity and nuance. The 40-year milestone achieved by Finola Hughes represents something increasingly rare in today's entertainment landscape, a character and performer who have remained relevant and beloved through decades of cultural shifts and changing television landscapes. As General Hospital continues to evolve, Anna Devane stands as a pillar of the show's history, while continuing to forge new and exciting paths forward. In an industry where longevity is uncommon and reinvention is constant, Hughes's achievement deserves recognition not just from soap opera enthusiasts, but from anyone who appreciates dedication to craft and the art of storytelling. Here's to 40 remarkable years and hopefully many more adventures to come in Port Charles. Next, we will learn about the intricate web of deceit, revenge, and family drama unfolding in Port Charles that threatens to reshape the entire landscape of power dynamics in this beloved fictional town. The latest developments suggest a perfect storm brewing that could potentially bring down one of the most formidable figures in daytime television history. The unwitting pawn, Christina's precarious position. Christina Corinthos Davis, the daughter of mob boss Sonny Corinthos and brilliant attorney Alexis Davis, has always lived in the complicated shadow of her parents' powerful personas. Now she finds herself unwittingly at the center of a dangerous game of chess where she's been positioned as the sacrificial pawn in a scheme far more elaborate than she could possibly imagine. A moment of recklessness that changed everything. In what can only be described as a catastrophic lapse in judgment, Christina made a decision that would forever alter the trajectory of her life and potentially the lives of everyone she holds dear. The cutting of Rick Lansing's brake lines wasn't just an impulsive act of revenge, it was the catalyst for a chain reaction that now threatens to implode the carefully constructed world of the Corinthos family. The accident that nearly claimed the lives of both Rick and Elizabeth Baldwin has created the perfect leverage point for those who have long waited in the shadows for an opportunity to strike. The psychological burden of the Corinthos Davis legacy. Growing up caught between two worlds has never been easy for Christina. On one side stands her father, Sonny Corinthos, Port Charles' most notorious and feared mob boss, whose empire was built on intimidation, violence, and a strict code of loyalty. On the other side is her mother, Alexis Davis, a brilliant legal mind committed to justice and the rule of law. This dichotomy has created a perpetual internal conflict for Christina, who has struggled to reconcile these opposing forces throughout her life. Her childhood was marked by kidnappings, threats, and constant security concerns, the inevitable consequences of her father's chosen profession. As she matured, Christina's attempts to forge her own identity have often led her down questionable paths, from abusive relationships to morally ambiguous decisions. This pattern of poor choices stemming from her complicated upbringing has culminated in her current predicament, one that could cost her not just her freedom, but potentially her life. The invisible target on her back. As Christina goes about her daily routine in Port Charles, perhaps stopping for coffee at Kelly's Diner, visiting her siblings, or handling her professional responsibilities, she remains blissfully unaware of the elaborate surveillance operation monitoring her every move. Ava Jerome and Rick Lansing, two of Port Charles's most cunning operators, have transformed Christina from a peripheral figure in their vendetta against Sonny into the centerpiece of their revenge strategy. Every phone call she makes, every person she meets, every emotional vulnerability she displays is being meticulously documented and analyzed for potential exploitation. The invisible target on Christina's back grows larger with each passing day, as Ava and Rick refine their plan to use her as the instrument of her father's destruction. The question isn't if they will strike, but when, and whether anyone in the Corinthos circle will see it coming before it's too late. The unlikely alliance, Ava Jerome and Rick Lansing. In the complex social ecosystem of Port Charles, certain alliances seem unthinkable until they suddenly materialize before our eyes. The partnership between Ava Jerome and Rick Lansing represents perhaps the most unexpected and potentially devastating collaboration the town has witnessed in years. These two individuals, each formidable in their own right, have found common ground in their shared hatred for Sonny Corinthos. A tapestry of betrayal and broken promises. The history between Ava, Rick, and Sonny reads like a Shakespearean tragedy filled with betrayal, manipulation, and shattered relationships. Ava's complicated history with Sonny includes their shared daughter Avery, the murder of Connie Falconeri, and countless power struggles over territory and influence. Her cunning mind and willingness to cross moral boundaries have made her one of Port Charles' most unpredictable players. Rick, as Sonny's half-brother, carries the burden of a lifetime of comparison and competition. His attempts to step out of Sonny's shadow have led him down dark paths, including kidnapping a pregnant Carly, numerous legal manipulations, and repeated attempts to dismantle Sonny's empire. The psychological wounds of always being second best have festered into a deep-seated resentment that now fuels his desire for ultimate revenge. These parallel histories of conflict with Sonny have created the perfect foundation for an alliance built not on trust, but on mutual benefit and a shared enemy. Their combined knowledge of Sonny's operations, weaknesses, and pressure points makes them uniquely positioned to inflict maximum damage on the Corinthos organization. The synergy of complementary skills. What makes the Ava-Rick partnership particularly dangerous is how perfectly their abilities complement each other. Ava brings street smarts, underworld connections, and a ruthless pragmatism honed through years of surviving in male-dominated criminal enterprises. Her ability to charm, manipulate, and intimidate gives the alliance its emotional intelligence and adaptability. Rick contributes legal expertise, intimate knowledge of the Corinthos family dynamics, and strategic thinking developed during his years as a prosecutor and defense attorney. His understanding of how to navigate both legal and illegal channels provides the technical framework for their revenge plot. He knows exactly how to construct a case against Christina that would be both legally damning and emotionally devastating for Sonny. Together, they represent a threat greater than the sum of its parts, a combination of insider knowledge, legal acumen, criminal connections, and psychological insight that could potentially dismantle everything Sonny has built over decades. The psychological chess match. Unlike previous adversaries who have attempted frontal assaults on Sonny's organization, Ava and Rick recognize that the key to destroying Sonny lies not in attacking his business directly, but in systematically dismantling his emotional foundation. They understand that Sonny's children, particularly Christina, who has always been vulnerable to manipulation, represent his true Achilles heel. Their strategy involves multiple layers of psychological warfare. First, they plan to expose Christina's role in the brake-cutting incident, potentially facing serious criminal charges. Then they intend to offer Sonny an impossible choice: sacrifice his empire and power to save his daughter, or maintain his position while watching Christina pay the price for her actions. This approach is designed to exploit Sonny's greatest fear, being unable to protect his family despite his power and resources. By targeting Christina, they're not just aiming to cause temporary pain, but to inflict a wound that will never fully heal, forcing Sonny to live with the consequences of his lifestyle in the most personal way possible. Sonny Corinthos, the king in check. For decades, Sonny Corinthos has reigned as the undisputed king of Port Charles's underworld. His journey from street thug to powerful mob boss is the stuff of legend in the soap opera universe. Yet now, this seemingly untouchable figure finds himself in an unprecedented position of vulnerability, facing a threat he doesn't yet fully comprehend. The crumbling foundation of power. Sonny's empire has always been built on a delicate balance of fear, respect, and strategic alliances. His ability to inspire loyalty in some while instilling fear in others has allowed him to maintain control over his territory despite numerous challenges over the years. However, the foundation of this power structure has begun to show cracks. His ongoing health issues, specifically his bipolar disorder, have created periods of instability that his enemies have learned to exploit. The constant pressure of maintaining his position while managing his condition has taken its toll, creating moments of weakness that would have been unthinkable in his prime. Additionally, his attention has been divided across multiple fronts: family crises, territorial disputes, and personal relationships that have grown increasingly complicated. This diffusion of focus has created blind spots in Sonny's usually impeccable awareness of threats. While he remains vigilant against traditional enemies and rival organizations, he has failed to recognize the danger posed by the unlikely alliance forming right under his nose. By the time he realizes that Ava and Rek have joined forces, they will have already set their plan in motion. The impossible choice facing a father. Throughout his life, Sonny has maintained a strict separation between his family and his business. He has always believed that his power and influence would serve as a protective shield around his loved ones. The bitter irony now is that this same power has made his daughter a target and potentially placed her freedom and possibly her life in jeopardy. As the scheme against Christina unfolds, Sonny will face an impossible choice that no father should have to make. Does he leverage his criminal connections to obstruct justice and protect Christina from the consequences of her actions? Or does he allow the legal system to run its course, potentially watching his daughter serve time for a crime that, while serious, was committed in a moment of emotional distress? Either choice comes with devastating consequences. Interfering with the investigation could escalate his conflict with law enforcement to unprecedented levels and potentially endanger other family members. Allowing Christina to face justice might save his organization but would mean failing in his most fundamental duty as a father, protecting his child. This dilemma represents the culmination of the contradiction Sonny has lived with his entire adult life. The belief that he could be both a loving family man and a criminal kingpin without one role eventually compromising the other. The strategic blindness of a man who sees everything. Perhaps the most tragic aspect of Sonny's current predicament is that it stems largely from his own actions and inattention. His focus on maintaining his empire and dealing with immediate threats has created a strategic blindness to the danger posed by those he has wronged in the past. Sonny has always prided himself on his ability to anticipate moves and counter-moves in the complex game of organized crime, yet he has consistently underestimated both Ava and Rick, viewing them as annoyances rather than existential threats. This dismissive attitude has allowed them to operate in his blind spot, gathering information, forming alliances, and constructing a plan designed to strike at his very core. By the time Sonny realizes the gravity of the situation, the pieces will already be in motion. His legendary ability to control outcomes will be tested like never before as he faces adversaries who know him intimately and have planned meticulously for every potential response. The ripple effect consequences for Port Charles. The unfolding drama between these powerful figures will not be contained to just the principal players. Like a stone dropped in still water, the repercussions of this conflict will radiate outward, affecting virtually every corner of Port Charles and potentially changing the town's power dynamics forever. A community divided by loyalty and justice. As news of Christina's actions and the subsequent machinations by Ava and Rick become public knowledge, the citizens of Port Charles will find themselves forced to take sides. Those who have benefited from Sonny's protection or generosity over the years will rally to defend the Corinthos family. Others who have suffered due to his criminal activities will see this as long overdue justice. This division will play out across families, friendships, and professional relationships. The hospital staff, the police department, local businesses, and even schools will become battlegrounds for competing narratives about whether Sonny deserves what's happening to his family. Long-standing relationships will be tested as people are forced to choose between personal loyalty and their sense of right and wrong. The legal system under pressure. Port Charles' legal infrastructure will face unprecedented scrutiny as this case unfolds. The district attorney's office, already familiar with the challenges of prosecuting cases connected to the Corinthos organization, will face intense pressure from multiple directions. Political ambitions, personal vendettas, and genuine concerns for justice will create a volatile mixture that threatens the integrity of the entire system. Defense attorneys will jockey for position to represent Christina, recognizing the high-profile nature of the case. Judges will face difficult decisions about bail, evidence admissibility, and sentencing, knowing that their rulings will be analyzed and criticized regardless of which way they lean. The courthouse will become a theater for the town's most dramatic power struggle in years. Economic and criminal power vacuums. Should Sonny be forced to step back from his operations to deal with the crisis facing his daughter, a significant power vacuum would emerge in Port Charles' criminal landscape. Rival organizations that have been kept at bay by Sonny's dominance would quickly move to claim territory, resources, and connections. This could potentially trigger a wave of violence as different factions compete for control. Similarly, the legitimate businesses that Sonny uses to launder money and maintain his public image would face uncertain futures. From the coffee import business to restaurants and real estate holdings, these enterprises employ numerous Port Charles residents who would suddenly find their livelihoods in jeopardy. The economic ripple effects could touch every sector of the local economy. The transformation of family dynamics. Perhaps the most profound and lasting impacts will be felt within the extended Corinthos and Davis families. Siblings will be forced to examine their relationships with Christina and with each other. The crisis will expose fault lines in family loyalties and potentially create new alliances across previously rigid boundaries. Alexis Davis, as both Christina's mother and an attorney, will face perhaps the most agonizing position of all. Her commitment to the law and justice will collide directly with her maternal instinct to protect her daughter at all costs. This internal conflict could potentially lead to a professional and personal breakdown that reshapes her identity and role in Port Charles society. The psychological chess match intensifies. As this high-stakes drama continues to unfold, the psychological warfare between the key players will reach unprecedented levels of complexity and intensity. Each move and counter-move will be calculated not just for immediate effect, but for how it positions each player for subsequent stages of the conflict. Ava's masterful manipulation. Ava Jerome has always excelled at identifying and exploiting psychological vulnerabilities. In this conflict, she will deploy her considerable talents to create division within the Corinthos family. By selectively revealing information, planting seeds of doubt, and exploiting existing tensions, she aims to ensure that Sonny faces this crisis without his usual united support system. Her approach will be surgical and patient. A whispered comment to Michael about Sonny's priorities, a seemingly sympathetic conversation with Carly about Christina's well-being, a strategic revelation to Alexis about evidence that might help or harm their daughter. Each interaction will be designed to fracture trust and create openings for her larger strategy. Rick's legal labyrinth. While Ava focuses on emotional manipulation, Rick will construct a legal maze designed to trap Sonny regardless of which path he chooses. As an experienced attorney who knows both the letter of the law and how to bend it, Rick understands exactly how to construct a case that appears airtight while actually being designed to apply maximum pressure on specific points. His strategy will involve multiple legal fronts: criminal charges against Christina, potential conspiracy charges against Sonny if he intervenes, civil litigation from Elizabeth and others affected by the accident, and possibly even reopening investigations into past Corinthos family incidents. Each legal challenge will be timed and structured to force Sonny to divide his attention and resources, preventing him from mounting an effective defense on any single front. Sonny's desperate countermeasures. As Sonny begins to recognize the true nature and scope of the threat, his response will evolve from confusion to rage to calculated counter-strategy. Drawing on decades of experience surviving attempts to destroy him, Sonny will mobilize every resource at his disposal, legal, illegal, and those that exist in the gray area between. His first instinct will be protection, securing Christina physically and legally while gathering intelligence on exactly what Ava and Rick know and what they plan to do with that information. Then will come containment, limiting damage to his family and organization while identifying potential pressure points he can exploit against his adversaries. Finally, he will move to counterattack, using methods that may shock even those who think they know the full extent of what Sonny Corinthos is capable of when his family is threatened. Christina's awakening. Perhaps the most unpredictable element in this entire scenario is Christina herself. As she gradually becomes aware of how she's being manipulated, her response will be shaped by both her Corinthos and Davis heritage. The question becomes whether she will react with her father's ruthless pragmatism or her mother's principled determination. Christina's journey through this crisis will force her to confront hard truths about her own actions, her family legacy, and the kind of person she wants to become. Her decisions, whether to fight, flee, confess, or something entirely unexpected, could ultimately determine the outcome of this elaborate chess match in ways none of the principal players have anticipated. As we eagerly await the next developments in this gripping saga, one thing is certain: the residents of Port Charles are in for a period of unprecedented turmoil and transformation. Will Sonny be able to protect his daughter and maintain his grip on power? Or will Ava and Rick's carefully laid plans finally bring down the Corinthos Empire? And most importantly, what will remain of these families and their relationships when the dust finally settles? Stay tuned to ABC's General Hospital to watch this explosive story unfold in all its dramatic glory.